Okay, so we continue on with the chondrichthyes. So we established all of the chondrichthyes characteristics, the placoid scales, the different types of endoskeleton, the cartilage endoskeleton. We look at different types of jaw structure. And that's what we're going to continue with right now. So we know that we have the fused jaw down here in the holocephali, so fused to the maxilla. And then we have that very flexible goblin shark-like flexible extruding jaw of the elasmobranchi. So I'm going to cover the more primitive branch first. And we're going to look at this holocephali group. Holocephali, known as the chimeras. Right? So chimera is this mythological creature that's all blended, mixed together. That's kind of where they get this this name. So I've heard them called as rabbit fish, rat fish. They got these big sort of buck-tooth type of structures there. Very, very deep water fish. So we find these in the deep ocean. They are going to be primitive in the sense that they only have 4 gill openings. So we're going to see in chondrichthyes, the more gills that you have, the more evolved you've become. So 4 gill openings, and of those 4, 3 of them are covered with this soft tissue flap. So in essence, only 1 gill is visible. And we know a little bit, if you've read up on the previous chapters, the gills are the gas exchange organ of fish. They have to extract oxygen. They need oxygen, so they use these gills to kind of have this gas exchange and literally breathe oxygen in underwater. So only 1 of them opening, or only 1 gill opening visible. Right? Most of them have a long nose, call that a rostra, and the rostra will have a lot of sensory nerves. We're going to call that a lateral line. Right? The sensory lateral line basically is a sense of like touch and feel. So they can kind of feel vibrations. They can feel different things in the world around them with that lateral line. And then pullae or ampullary electroreceptors. I'm going to talk about that more specifically when we get to the elasmobranchs a little bit later. These fish retain a very primitive characteristic. If you remember the hagfish. Hagfish had that real weird sort of lateral type of opening tooth mechanism. We call that a tooth plate. Well, we still have a tooth plate in this group as well. So they have that tooth plate mechanism. And again, it's not the best picture here, but they do have these, again, big tooth plates that they're going to use as crushing and grinding type of teeth as well. So weird looking species. There's multiple types of chimera, different names that they get, different species names, but they all have these sort of qualities there. So you can see that rostra, the snout, the rostra, the snout, and some of these even use these for breeding, right? They use instead of having the claspers, which look like a penis down below, they'll have a clasper up here to help connect to the female. So weird fish, right? They're just strange. I got a picture here. I don't know if you can see, if it's big enough. Here's a fisherman with a chimera. So it gives you a size sort of reference. They're not that small. They're, a good hefty little fish there. But again, just weird, very primitive forms. Not in English, but that's what I could find. A lot of the chimeras have a venomous spine. We're going to see that being evolved even a little bit more when we get to things like catfish and species like that. There's a clasper. So instead of the clasper being back here, the clasper is up here in this particular species. Weird tail. It's just, again, a strange, very primitive fish, right? So cartilage fish, representative of the fused jaw mechanism. right? So chimeras, the holocephali. All right, so let me stop, very short one. Let me stop that one there.